Today, we have Microsoft and Activision stories, but it's not about the acquisition. This is ChillPoint.
What a relief.
Are we allowed?
I know.
Are they allowed?
It turns out they're giant companies that have all sorts of irons in the fire from a ridiculous news standpoint. Hey everyone, how's it going? Hope we sound okay again. I feel like there's a better solution for the microphone here, but for now, this is what we got.
Hello.
I'm gonna take the headphones off because I don't need them right now.
Nobody needs to monitor our sound.
Cool.
This is the old ChillPoint document.
You're correct.
Yeah, this is not the most recent one.
Let's talk about all the cool things that happened.
We already talked about last week.
That we already talked about last week.
I mean, that's fine. I don't mind that.
This episode, same as the last
I could probably
episode.
come up with some better jokes this time around now that I've gone through it once.
The worst thing is when this has happened quite often to Graham and I. We'll be like watching like an old Unskippable or an old episode or something, and you come up with the same joke, like right in line with yourself from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You're like, well, I guess that's still a good joke, but apparently my sense of humor hasn't changed at all.
I am no saying. I made that joke exactly as I would make it today.
Yeah. Hey everybody, welcome to ChillPoint, the show where we talk about video game news and also about the episode of Checkpoint that went up this week. And this is a very special episode because
went to an alternate universe or something.
we had our special guest Bijan.
Hey! What a treat it was for me to finally do Checkpoint.
Yeah, I saw some people in the comments that were like, hey, this Bijan guy, he's pretty good, you should keep him
Yeah,
on.
I might do that. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Give it another couple weeks.
So yeah, we obviously Graham and Kathleen are away in Spain and parts there around for the next week or two. So luckily, Ian was able to jump in and join us for the thing. It was great, and he did some really wonderful stories. I saw somebody in the comments that was like, I like the way Ian's stories have all sorts of information about the about this particular news item, whereas Bija's stories just are going off onto
Pure fucking editorial, yeah.
whatever he has.
Whatever I happened to be thinking that night when I was doing stuff. Ian did say to me too, he was like, I wanted to be sure that these were like the right length. I'm like, no kidding. And he's like, but I was like looking for facts. Like I was just crawling through stuff trying to find as much information as I could, and I was kind of like, that's an excellent instinct because it's not one of mine.
Yeah, I mean,
But yeah.
one of your stories was like, I thought this and this, and then I read the article and figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Which
not.
I know is a jest thing. I know you read first and you.
But yeah,
whatnot, but
there's not a lot of news articles that halfway through were like, and then I actually investigated what this thing was about.
Now, I didn't bury the lead. I did say that parents in Japan were using Pokemon or Pikmin to control their children, and I'm like, that is what's happening in this story. But it also needed some, because I read it and I'm like, what the hell does that even mean? Like that was the crux of that story, was I need to figure out what the possibilities are before I actually spoil myself on what the reality is.
Right.
so that your brain's not distracted and it's like, well, it's just this.
Yeah, because if I get hard locked into there's just one aspect of the story, I'm like, no, I need to find the means to make fun of this. So come up with all the reasons why I think this will have been something I didn't expect.
I was kind of really hoping there would be like maybe hats. Because I'm pretty sure you can get like hats or whatever that they're giving these kids.
Yeah, they'll have like ones that have little leaves and then ones that have flowers when they actually do something good. Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about let's talk about that story. So the story is that some parents in Japan came up with their kids very excited about Pikmin, and realized that they could leverage that because the kinds of things that the Pikmin do in the game are actually quite useful for following the parents, going and getting something and then coming, but
coming back. Yes,
the kinds of behaviors that the Pikmin are doing are the kinds of things that you want to encourage your child to do in public.
Exactly.
In a lot of cases.
Yeah, come to me when I call you.
Maybe not like throwing stuff at people.
No, exactly. You don't want to take your child and like throw them on top of the jerk manager on the side of the street who's yelling at you or whatever.
This isn't like a new concept. This is just like play pretend with your kids. You like take an active interest in the things they like.
Yeah.
And use it to your advantage.
I was pleased to hear that they did not have whistles for real.
Oh, they weren't like blowing whistles.
No. See, that's the funny thing. I can totally see them having actual whistles.
Yeah.
Because if you had like the little, not like a pea whistle, but if you had like the ones that you just gonna go like the like a train whistle style, or like the panic whistle thing, and you just go fweet fweet, like really really.
Well, that's the
quietly.
Was it Sound of Music?
Yeah.
That's like the major or whatever has like the because he's using the like the Navy thing of just like does a whistle for.
But you said the adults didn't have whistles, so what I picture is what happens in Ted Lasso with what's his face who ends up coaching. He's just like where he just yells whistle.
Yes, Roy Kent.
Roy Kent.
Who just goes whistle.
Yeah. So I just picture parents just doing that now.
So and then the other thing, what's something about this story that I noticed. So B's linked to this. He was like, because he's like, get them to attack a weird snake bird thing.
Yep.
Thing. Now, the first thing I'd never played Pikmin.
Fair, yeah.
That's totally the thing from Minish Cap.
Oh,
that's Link's hat from Minish Cap.
It's Ezio.
Just like weird evil version.
Enzo, Exo.
I haven't played. I think it's Ezio.
One of them.
Enzo?
Okay, one of these.
Ezio's the guy from Assassin's Creed.
So
okay, definitely not that one then.
Esno. this
come on, you should know this information. Help us.
This is what's known as a burrowing snagret. Because combination of snake and egret, I guess, is the idea.
Snagret.
Yeah.
That's a very like Pokemon.
It is.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that this is how we get the Pikmin, the Zelda crossover, and the Minish are about the size of Pikmin.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Minish and the Pikmin could definitely work together.
They could either work together, or one of them could be, or maybe Pikmin are like the Korok version of like Koroks for Minish.
Okay.
Or maybe what the world that we're seeing in Pikmin is Hyrule. Either way in the future or way in the past.
Right. Yeah.
And the Pikmin are either the Minish, either the predecessor to the Minish, or have destroyed the Minish and taken over.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if Koroks at the size that we see them in like Tears of the Kingdom and stuff acted like a group of Pikmin where they all just got together and then they started picking things up and moving stuff in mass?
I would love
that would be great
to just like if I stood near Korok and I whistled, that it just joined my party and just wandered around with me while I did stuff, and then it just amassed like a massive.
I just need to convince that one to take that backpack off. I could carry the backpack for it if it would just jump on my shoulder or something.
It would be good if I would like sometimes the Koroks are always like hidden in rocks and trees and different things. Yeah. It would be great if sometime you like just encounter a Korok who's like out in the open and like,
well,
one sec.
You're gonna love Tears of the Kingdom then.
Oh,
yeah.
What if the Pikmin now the Minish are not in
any other Zelda?
They're in Breath of the Wild.
Nope.
They're not in Tears of the Kingdom. What if the war between the Minish and the Pikmin is happening? Just nobody has noticed.
It's just a tiny war. Yeah.
It's this little teeny weeny war happening.
I assume they're all technically like fall under the realm of the Fae anyway, right? That they're like little tiny fairy brownie creature things, and then the Pikmin are like little tiny like nymph sprite kind of things. Like they're plant creatures, right? So it's
trying to picture what like a Pikmin Warriors game would look like.
Like a
Usually
like
you
a
want the massive things that you fight, but I think it'd be really funny if you
like
had the massive things that you went and fought with.
like a Pikmin Muso game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but ultimately that is what Pikmin is, right? It's just like you take 100 of them and you throw them at things like this on the screen, and it's like, you're
kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of they reversed that idea.
But I think they could do something slightly different.
That you want to just kind of take these things into hordes of enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I can. Yeah.
I think it might be interesting.
Or that things are constantly coming at you and you have to fight them as the horde of enemies.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think it's really cute because there are people who are. I mean, especially what's cute is that the posts on social media in Japanese, they all say things like "Thank you, Nintendo-san."
yeah.
Mr. Nintendo.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Nintendo, or Ms. Nintendo. But it's just kind of like they get it. They're like, but I like that it's like it's very polite. It's like, thank you, Nintendo-san, for this should work for a little while yet. It's like,
I mean,
okay.
Pikmin are super cute. I hope they make more shorts like they did with 3.
Yeah.
Because it's something. It's fun. It's a lot of fun watching them just kind of get stuck in things and then figure their own lives out.
I mean, ironically, this is a story that might be kind of that I don't know whether Graham and Kathleen would have a take on this as people who have a small child.
Yes.
Approximately the age where that
right
might be
range.
relevant. Yeah. But I did see people in the comments talking about how not necessarily with Pikmin, but with other things that I mean, kids like, from what I understand, kids like to play. They like the things that they like, obviously, and they like to when the adults are sort of playing with them about that kind of stuff.
Were you not a child at
Yes.
the time? Are you one of the Paul clones? Like, what do you mean?
No.
From what I understand.
From what
I never played that way though either, right? That I was never the one where it's like I want to do the pretend thing with my parents.
Like my parents, my parents didn't play video
parents.
games.
There's that, yeah, okay.
And also, I'm 40, so it was a long time ago.
My parents, my mom especially played video games, which was awesome when you were in elementary school to be able to say to your friends, it's like, my mom gets better scores at Tetris than I do.
Be like, Mom,
but also better scores than you do.
Mom, can you get me through this level?
Kind of, like that kind of idea. And I can believe this is the case too. That if mom's like, hey, we're gonna play Pikmin today, like we're gonna go to the supermarket and we're gonna look for treasures, and if I find something, then I want you to come over and pick it up and carry it with me.
I hope the kids specify what color of Pikmin they are that day.
Yes, absolutely. You can't be a red Pikmin because otherwise you'll set the toilet paper on fire.
You need to be a rock Pikmin today. I need you to be strong.
Yeah.
I guess it's the purple one.
The other thing that I love, somebody was like, I tried this with Minecraft. I tried to get my my nephew, my little nephew and niece, to help me do gardening by pretending it was Minecraft. They no longer believe anything I say.
Great. Yeah.
Whenever I say something will be fun, they don't believe me anymore.
It still work.
Yeah.
It still work.
So it didn't quite work.
I need you to go punch this tree for an hour until it falls over, and it's like
Oh, so real intense Valheim players.
Uncle Beach that doesn't work.
I was gonna that's just like Bruce Lee training regime.
Yeah.
1 inch punch this tree. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's super cute. DreamWorks Kart. The new kart racing game.
This is just the story so Ian could go research a bunch of Shrek.
Okay. The fact that there are 3 other Shrek kart games.
Yes. Actually,
was kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either.
I mean, Garfield's got at least 2.
Also, the fact that they are concentrated, though, on Shrek, right? Like, the Garfield kart thing, that also blew my mind, because I'm like, really? Your cast of characters isn't that deep? I guess it is, but like, yeah, just Shrek kart. And in this case, they're like, no, DreamWorks All-Star
Yeah, so now they're going the full DreamWorks All-Stars.
Just put Shrek on the cover, because memes? Maybe?
The most recognizable.
It's the most recognizable, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, they got the Boss Baby, they got Megamind.
I forgot that was it Bad Guys was like a movie.
Yeah. It was like
it was like
I
Bad
liked
Guys,
it.
Mr. Wolf.
Yeah, it was like a pretty good movie.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
that movie.
I like just about
No,
any,
it was a good movie.
I like
I
any
just,
caper movie.
No, I
yeah.
don't think about it.
I mean, so How to Train Your Dragon, right? That's DreamWorks as well.
Yeah.
The fact that there's
Was that a movie?
All the shows that keep making extra stuff for on Netflix.
I was highly amused that there is a separate different wolf that is only part of the digital deluxe version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the good guy, bad guy.
I hear some
wolf,
of
and
the
there's the bad guy, bad guy. Wolf.
Puss in Boots movies are actually pretty good.
Right, the wolf from Bad Guys is the good guy wolf.
Yeah.
The
Ultimate.
wolf, the
Well-
wolf from Puss in Boots is the bad guy wolf.
Yes.
He's the heist mastermind, I guess.
Yeah,
so
but he's
sure,
with a heart of
he's-
gold.
He's the good guy in the end.
Yeah.
He's George Clooney.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I like this, I put this, I threw this story in, and I didn't, sometimes I sort of put little notes on stories with what I think the funny bit is. I didn't do that for this story, and I was happy that Ian did end up in the same place that I did, which was some of the carts, like Hiccup's cart. Did he have a did he have like a stuffed toothless on the front of his cart?
Yeah.
Like that's weird. Donkey's got his wife's head on this on the cart. That would be weird.
Yeah, we're assuming they're not the real thing, or they're not magically transformed. Right, we're just assuming that it's like, somebody made a replica of Donkey's wife's head, of Mrs. Donkey.
I'm glad he didn't go for the easy joke about Donkey and her.
Anyway, I thought for Road Quest 2 that would be great.
Just drive around on a.
You have to make your own carts?
No, that I would have a car, but I would have a small replica of your head on the front of it.
Made of like paper mache.
Yes, because I'm not going to cast it in silver.
I don't know how I feel about this yet.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about it either. But
Sorry, I just like.
If you go through with this, my reaction may be unexpected because I don't know how I feel about that.
I guess it depends on how good a job I do recreating the head.
So I'd love the response like, so out of paper mache? Well, yeah, because I'm not going to cast it in silver.
Yeah, those are my options.
Those are the two materials.
Only two in existence.
Also, it is like the dragons are big, but they're riding around in these carts, and the heads are a lot smaller than a dragon's head. Because I mean, let's be honest. Like Donkey could fit entirely inside of his wife's mouth. So go search for that on the internet. But there's this much smaller dragon head on the front of his cart. So I'm like, so this would be a much smaller version of your head, like probably just about this big.
Again, not sure how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Also,
You've seen me paint minis.
I'm trying very hard to not just like auto into a violence mode about this.
That's
I'm
why
trying
Paul
to give
sits
you.
between us. Oh no. Oh no.
I'm trying to give you some benefit of the doubt because
Yep.
I know you don't mean anything bad by it, but boy, do I just want to hurt things a lot of the time. Don't worry, Paul. I've got no
all
beef
right.
with you. I will literally walk around
Ooh,
you.
I like the idea though. I could just strap the cam mask to the front of the car instead. Do that.
I'm more into that.
Yeah, that's good. That's
For other reasons.
horrifying.
I would put it forward that of all the DreamWorks characters, Hiccup being like a canonical engineering genius.
Yes.
He could actually like legit just build an awesome go-kart.
Yeah. I
Like
agree.
it wouldn't need to be all like toothless themed.
No.
He could actually just build a cool go-kart.
Though imagine when he came to the race that he's like, okay, I'm here with my cool go-kart, and they were like, why doesn't it look like your dragon? He's like, why would it look like my dragon? It's like the rule. Look at the rules, and then go like to the 9th paragraph, and it's like, it must be thematically related to your
So it has to be thematically
to
related.
your hero's journey.
And it has to be thematically related to your personality. And you ride a dragon, and
Yeah.
that's part of your personality now. So get in the game.
But I would make the case then why doesn't Shrek's car look like the outhouse that he bursts out of at the beginning of the movie?
That's true.
Yeah.
It should.
His car should be. Now
Just
I'm
an outhouse.
assuming they don't have Mike Myers in doing voice lines for this game.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Not likely.
Did they have Jay Baruchel though?
I was gonna say, now nothing against Jay Baruchel, He's an incredibly awesome guy.
Yeah.
Probably more available.
Yeah.
So that would be cool if he was involved.
Then again, what has what I was gonna say, what has Shrek been doing? No, what has Mike Myers been doing for the last 15 years? You know, it's like I don't think he's been that busy. He's not recording like the Austin Powers TV series or anything like that.
I assume he's just striking like everybody else.
There's that, yeah.
That's true right now, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. I wonder if you hire SAG-AFTRA people
I don't
to do
know
voices.
who belongs to what, so I just assume that they're all striking.
Because it's like for a video game, because I know there is that within the industry that the voice acting, there are voice actor guilds as well, like there are that kind of thing, and I do wonder if they're under SAG-AFTRA, or if you just join SAG-AFTRA and that's part of being that guild, or and if you get hired to do voice acting, if it's like that's still acting and still technically you can't do it because that'll be crossing the picket line, even if it's for a video game. I don't know the answer.
Yeah, I know. I from what I understand, it's a little bit complicated in terms of they're sort of intermeshing. Like a lot of video game voice actors are not part of the larger voice actors guild.
But also a lot of video games aren't produced in pro-union shops in the first place. So
right.
They won't be like, oh, we have to book union to work here.
It is, yes, different.
Which means you can look forward to a slate of video games coming out over the next year that have all been voiced by the programmers themselves.
I mean, sometimes that works out a little bit.
Hey, it worked for Myst.
And Atelier.
I was thinking Hades because I just assumed everybody who worked there also did voices.
Yeah, there's lots of.
I think a lot of their company does the voices as well.
There's a long tradition of that. Gabfeller actually brings up a good point about what the Canadian SAG and WGA equivalents are, and to be honest, I do not know.
I'm not certain.
I don't know whether it's...
The unions I know about are not related to those things.
But anyway, let's talk about the ESRB.
Oh, yay!
And facial age recognition.
You know, they're in charge of making E3 happen, right? And
yeah.
You know that E3 was definitely responsible for leaking a whole bunch of information about journalists and people who attended like years ago, right? So facial recognition
now
info, yeah, that's
now to be fair, the ESRB isn't. They're the ones saying that this is a piece of technology that they want to push forward. They're not saying that they would be in charge of the data,
right?
The ESRB itself.
Yeah, I know.
But
I mean, I guess, okay, for clarity's sake, it's not likely them, but...
Also, though, that is a little worrying when you think about it, that the ESRB is the one who's stumping for this technology, saying, we want this to happen. They're saying, we want it to happen because we think it's important for this to happen. But we will have no control over how it's implemented or who's managing that data. We just believe what we're being told by the people who we want to sell the stuff to, the businesses who are going to be making it, who live in our lobby.
Yeah, because that's the thing. What they're looking at is how do we... We're trying to solve a very specific problem.
Yes.
That stuff doesn't happen to children, and then we don't get blamed for it.
Correct.
And then we can continue to do what we want to do.
Sure.
Right?
A laudable goal.
But like that's the only thing they're looking at.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're looking at So one interesting aspect of this that we didn't really know about is that UT, is that the name of the company?
I was saying Yoti.
Yoti.
I'm assuming.
UK company, and a lot of folks in the comments were talking about that Yoti exists and is actually in use by quite a few different companies.
That's right.
Now, as far as I can see, primarily not in age verification stuff.
Right.
They just do identity verification in general, so just like facial recognition and all that kind of stuff.
In the proposal, though, they do say that their product can be used for age verification as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and so there's the sort of two-step that they do, this kind of like weird thing of, because of was it COPPA? COPPA?
Yeah, the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act.
Yeah.
Yes, good.
So because of COPPA, and they're very clear about this. I was looking on their website.
Mm-hmm.
They're very clear about this on their website. Because of that, they can't. They're like, we want to make it very clear, we are not doing this to children. We are not getting information from children.
Yeah.
We're not doing storing any data about children's stuff.
Yes.
Which is as Beej brought up in the story, it's this odd, like, so you're like, I want to see a flow chart
Yes.
of like how this process is supposed to work, where you're scanning people's faces so that they can do facial recognition on how old they are, but also never scanning children.
Yeah.
So
It has to be
it's-
smart enough to know already.
So it has to be only used in circumstances that only adults would be using it,
Right.
in which case it's not actually
Necessary. Yeah.
Yeah, but like that's a problem with a lot of places on the internet. They have, because like, they're not allowed to collect data on kids.
Right.
Which is why you have things like, oh, you must be at least 13 or older, or 18 or older, depending on the website, and we all just lie and get on anyway, and so.
Like, my niece had a Facebook account when she was 9.
Yeah, that was terrifying
She's like
to me.
20 now, roughly, and I'm just like, that at the time I was like, hey, maybe don't let her just have whatever I'm the uncle, I can't, you know what, fuck it, I don't care. Like, that's as far as I got, to be like, maybe you don't want your 9-year-old on Facebook? Oh, maybe you do. Oh, and then when that happens, it's like, who are all her friends? Oh, all of her parents' friends are actually all of her friends on, because none of her friends have a Facebook account. And I'm like, yeah, I wonder why that is, because they're not allowed to have one, but...
Well, but that is a thing that happens, where there are parents who, when someone says, oh, how do I get this account, because I can't, and they're like, oh, well, you just lie. And I mean, this happens with some video game stuff too, because a lot of video game accounts are online now. They won't let you change your age on a lot of those accounts, but they will lie about their age so they can play the M-rated games, because you have parents who don't understand what that's actually for, and don't care,
or figure it's a video game, how bad can it be?
Yeah, that kind of thing. And then later, that can become an issue with that account because of the age thing and other factors. But like, that's the thing, people lie all the time.
Absolutely.
Especially on the internet. I do it frequently.
Was she lying about that?
In the after talk where I mentioned the thing about Face ID, I really wanted to bring that up, because I'm like, there is that, like, and that's just to recognize that I own my own phone. That's really all that's for. I'm just registering a face to say this is who can buy whatever. And I'm like, so I already have a function built into my phone that can use my face to confirm this is who is making this purchase.
But I mean, at that point, like, if you're accessing like encrypted data on the phone.
Yeah.
Your phone already knows how old you are.
Exactly.
Because Apple has your credit card number and all ridiculously huge amounts of information on you.
Yeah.
So like, if you're going to the point where you're accessing the customer's data on the phone itself,
right,
you don't need the facial thing.
And that's kind of my point, is I'm like, at doing this, I don't think, like, it's like, I don't see what your chain of events is to be like, don't worry, we won't take a picture of your kid, but we need to in order to tell if they're not over 25. Okay, that's weird, but I'm like, yeah, at the payment level of, because what you're just trying to do is prevent a kid from paying to buy a video game. It's not about preventing a kid from playing a video game.
Right. So what they're talking about here is preventing a kid from pretending to be their parent, autarizing them to buy the
video game.
Pay them. Yeah.
Exactly, right? So, but ultimately, and it does come down to the idea of like, well, they're only concerned about the purchase point. Because after that, they're like, that kid got the game some other way, we're not responsible, the contract is over.
You don't want to be trying to be like, I'm going to tell you how to parent your kids, and you can't have...
Exactly.
They would like to do that.
I mean, yes. But,
and I feel like it's like, if it came down to a thing of use your, this is, I'm I know people are going to be like, I don't like this idea. And I'm like, I get it. But just roll with me on this. Okay? If it's like, I go to buy Yakuza on my iPhone and my face, and it says that, okay, I recognize it's who you are, that you can authorize this purchase, then click, and boom, you've authorized the purchase, and the purchase is made. Because I'm allowed to do that. And if my kid has an iPad and they say, I want to buy Yakuza on my iPad, and they go click to buy the thing, and it's like, you can't buy this thing because we know we have it in the system. Your parents set up the iPad to say that you are this age, and you can't change that, and you go to try to buy it, and it's like, sorry, we know that you're under 17, so you can't buy Yakuza for your iPad.
It should just be doing a thing where it's just like,
It's not even available on the App Store kind of idea.
You're not this person.
Yeah.
Right?
But yeah,
So
so
you can't
but
make
like
that
none of that,
purchase.
none of that is age estimation though. That's all just.
That's all a parent had to settle that up.
And that's all like that's like identity recognition, not
Exactly.
the idea with age estimation is you don't need all that
Yeah, you wouldn't need any
initial
like,
setup info.
it just guesses based on what it sees when it sees you, right? And I'm like, sure, that seems like it should make it simpler, but I'm like, but it does mean that there's a lot more, like, the control I want would be not to have my kid's photo uploaded to the internet.
Now the interesting thing, I was looking at their website, and one of the big things that they talk about is that their API basically just gives you a, over 13, under 13,
Right.
over 18, under, like you can get what the range is, but like you send the picture to them,
Yeah.
and the only thing you get back is yes or no,
Right.
good, or above or below the thing,
Right.
and they're very clear about that. So there's the which and they talk about so there's no worries about liability for information, for personal information. But what they're saying though is we'll take the heat on that.
That's
right?
true, yeah.
What they're saying is that you can, if you have a or if we have a data breach,
Yes.
it's not you won't get the, or you can blame us basically.
The
I will.
parents can blame Yoti, or do you mean the
Or-
software companies?
Yeah,
can
so
blame
like
Yoti?
if Epic is
Yeah.
using this software, they can tell everybody we don't have any of your info.
Yes.
And that's totally true.
Yes.
If there's a data breach and the info is leaked, that's Yoti's problem.
Exactly.
That's not Epic's problem.
Yeah.
Right, it's the subcontractor thing.
Of course, when it comes to that, it's like, oh, I buy all my games in the Epic Games Store, and it's like, hey, we're going to do facial recognition. And don't worry, if there's ever a data breach or problem, it's not our fault. It's this third party. And I'm like, who the fuck is Yoti?
Oh, don't worry. They
I
won't
didn't
say
think I
that
was
part.
signing up for a problem
Also-
to have a problem with them.
So the other thing is I spent a fair amount of time today
Yeah.
looking around trying to see if I could actually like demo
Yeah.
the Yoti software. And you can download, like, again, they have an existing software that's a identity recognition thing. And so you can download that. It currently has 1 star and everybody's very mad at it because because there's some service in the UK that basically switched so that you have to use Yoti to do it, and so everyone's really mad at them about that, which is I can totally understand. Not technically Yoti's fault,
Nope.
but it's obviously not a good situation. The place I was able to test some age recognition stuff is Amazon's has a similar service
Okay.
called it's like recognition but with a K.
Oh.
So it's
It's part of their Amazon Web Services thing.
Cool.
So I did a test that I just want to put this up because I was highly amused by it. Putting up an image from last week's ChillPoint. Here's me from last week's ChillPoint. Looks like a face. Appears to be male. Age range 28 to 38. Thank you very much, Amazon. A little low there, but that's fine.
Not smiling.
Not smiling. Appears to be confused. 95%. 95.4% appears to be this
I'm not sure I would call that a confused face, but I mean,
and 99.9% wearing glasses. So I got that part.
Is this why I got this email today?
Probably, yeah.
Great, thank you.
I did this thing. Oh, that explains
This
this.
email, yeah, it does. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So anyway, I was the Amazon thing, the like, this is a face, is pretty good.
It knows it's a face.
Obviously, as it starts getting into more like what feeling is the person having, that gets a lot more sketchy, I would think.
Personally, I do find that just sketchy in reality as well.
Well, and they talk about like that the age estimation things. I think in aggregate, or like in tests with images, the age estimation thing, I think the current stuff is they can get within like 2 years.
Wow.
And whereas people can usually get within 1.5 years, like, so people are generally a little better than the algorithms, but the algorithms are pretty good.
Okay.
Now, but the interesting thing about that, of course, that's in aggregate.
Right.
And that's the problem with these kind of things, right? There's a difference between something being used to for sort of data for data management or data collection, and something being used for this situation where it's specific people being authorized.
Yeah.
Like, I would guess if, for instance, you had, and I wouldn't be surprised if something like this is already happening, if you have, a camera set up pointed at the front door of your business.
Right.
And you take that video and, running it through a system that is estimating the age of every person that comes into your building, or every person that comes into your company.
Sure.
And could give you, so then you would get some statistics about the average age of people that are coming into your business,
right,
which might be useful from a marketing standpoint or whatever. That's very different from a thing that blocks people from coming in if they're not over a certain age.
Yeah, if you were a liquor store.
Based on this estimation system, right? Because if you have 1,000 people coming into your thing and the estimation thing is not very accurate on 50 out of the 1,000 people, it's still going to get pretty good stats for you.
Yeah.
If 50 people are just blocked from coming into your business, that's the problem.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference between the kinds of technologies that can be used that have a useful output in aggregate, which this seems to.
But think of the possibilities. If a liquor store, let's go with a liquor store, will lock the door because somebody is like 16 standing outside, that means I have so much power as a 16-year-old. I could just stand outside this door and no one can get out.
Yeah.
No one can leave.
You just stand there and stare at the camera all day and just be like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I'm not in your store. I'm not fucking anything up.
Like, I can do so much stuff. I mean, not me personally, I'm not a 16, but I could find 16-year-olds who would do it.
Or you could find a system that gets it wrong and actually guesses you as 16 for some reason.
Oh, probably.
Put like, I don't know, like, put like a bow in your hair, or like pigtails, or what do 16-year-olds do these days? Meth?
There's like a whole thing about, like, I remember, this is probably 10 or 15 years ago now, but there was this whole thing, a little bit of controversy when it became available that you could get your profile from Google.
Right, yeah.
And you could see the kinds of things that Google was inferring about you.
That's a very good word for that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
From your history. So, it was getting your age, your gender, your ethnicity, your place of, your nationality.
Yeah. Whether or not you hold a fish.
It was.
Well, I'm assuming data profiling takes a bunch of information off of photos as well.
Yeah. So this was doing all sorts of, and it was getting that information again in aggregate, being that you watched a bunch of these kinds of videos. Most people who watch these kind of videos are X. You're probably X, and then extrapolate that to a million different data points.
Right. Yeah.
And everyone, there's a lot of laughing about it because people were like, it thinks that I'm a 40-year-old man from Norway.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
But I would guess that, again, in aggregate, that information was actually relatively accurate.
Yeah.
In the sense of it provided some useful information, but again, not even Google or YouTube would actually use that information to like saying like, no, you can't watch
Straight up authentication.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, try to like authenticate or prevent
It's
people
like, you
from
can't
watching
watch
videos.
this thing on YouTube because you are clearly a 40-year-old man who lives in Norway. It's like, what? No, I just happen to like black licorice and I talk an awful lot about Norwegian kroner.
Yeah.
It comes up a lot in my writings.
It's been slipping lately. I know
true.
because chat's been doing the calculations in some of the comment sections, and they wouldn't have to do that if you were slipping.
Now the question is habitually converting things into Norwegian kroner a thing that Norwegian people do? Maybe it isn't.
If maybe assuming from people in our chat, it might be. Or at least in the YouTube comments, anyway.
Anyway, this kind of, AI recognition stuff is, it's a very interesting field, and obviously it's something that is being extensively worked on. But it is something that is very difficult it is something that computers are inherently not good at doing.
Yes.
And so it's very interesting to see, using these sophisticated AI models and all these things.
And part of the frustration I have is, obviously you don't want to say you can't do it, so just give up. You don't that's kind of a non-working thing, but also at the same time there's that sense of it's like, well, surely the magicians who weave code with their fingertips can devise a way I'm changing topics, but it's to make a point.
All right.
They can devise a way to insert a backdoor into this end-to-end encryption so only the people that are the good guys get access to it. Like, this kind of thing comes up all the time where it's
right.
like, can you use technology to change people's behavior in a way or allow us to do a thing? And it's like, sometimes you can. Sometimes you can't.
Yeah, and it's like sometimes what you're asking is like fundamentally impossible because of how the technology you're talking about works.
Yeah, and this idea of stating, don't worry, we won't use this technology with children, but the only way to tell if you're a child is to upload it to the web, which is the thing you said you wouldn't, take a photo and upload it to the web, which is the thing you're kind of saying is part of the technology. So at some point the technology chain has to like say, beep, 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 stop this. And I'm like, it'd be different if Yoti was like an app on your phone that used machine learning to be able to tell, like on your phone, it's like, oh, that is a kid I'm looking at. So don't send this photo to get authorized. But if it sees a thing where it's like, that might not be a kid, that might be an adult, but I'm not sure, so send that to the web. Or it gets a picture of me, it's like, oh, that guy's definitely 40 years old. Just let him buy whatever he wants. Here's your one-time PIN you can enter into the thing because you did your Yoti authentication on your phone, right? It's like
this guy's 40. Just give him whatever he needs, whatever help he can get.
Yeah,
when I stopped getting carded like 10 years ago, when I would walk into a liquor store to buy something for a friend of mine because I don't drink, so it's like I don't know what the process is, but I get in there and I don't get carded. I never thought anything of it until I started getting carded and realizing like, oh, I actually do look old now. So yeah,
It depends. There are some places that they have to card everybody.
yeah, that's the new thing. Just because it's like we're carding you because we card everybody because it's more fair.
Yeah, I mean, the joke I was thinking with this story is that if it did actually work, I suspect we would see sales of fake beards go way up.
Absolutely.
Like, I'd love to use this and have like a picture of like, I don't know, a 15-year-old or something, and then have the same picture with like a big fake beard on, and whether it would work. I'm assuming it wouldn't.
Yeah.
But anyway, also sometimes, man, you walk past like a high school or something, and some of those like rugby players, those guys are big.
They look more mature than I do.
Anyway,
What was where are we?
talking
What
about
does it smell like?
Right.
You want a new Xbox controller?
Not
You know what?
this one.
I'm disappointed about this.
What's going on, Paul?
To promote the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, the Xbox or Microsoft is coming out with an Xbox wireless controller with a custom smell diffuser, scent diffuser.
It's just an air freshener.
Yeah. I was somewhat disappointed that the smell hadn't been somehow built
Baked
into the plastic.
to the
Oh,
plastic.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why this is not as interesting as I thought it was going to be, because I'm like, wait, so it's just a
I thought that
thing
what they
that
were.
plugs in.
I thought that what they were doing is creating some sort of thing that like clips onto ultimately would clip onto the bottom of any Xbox controller, that they shove this slice of pizza thing into that has been saturated with, pizza oil.
Yeah.
And that the heat of the battery going through its discharge cycle is what makes the thing start to become aromatic.
I mean, maybe. And to be honest, that's actually pretty smart.
I've been in the back area of like a Pizza Hut. I know what it's like to be in a room full of pizza oil. I don't want that in a controller.
You want that? You don't want
No,
that smell?
I just wanted like a scratch and sniff sticker on the controller at bare minimum. That's baked into the plastic would have been better, but at bare minimum, I was just like, let me scratch and sniff sticker.
Yeah, scratch and sniff pizza has been around for like decades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As Ian points out, like if this actually is successful, who knows what amazing smells we could get in the future as tie-ins for other games.
Well, and he was specifically talking about hacking your controller to
That's true.
putting your
Yeah.
own.
I mean, the idea of like if you can use anything in here, but I mean, if you bought a game and it came with like, an air freshener in plastic that you could take off and tape to the back of your controller to make the thing happen. It's that seems kind of neat too.
I mean, that's like one of those, old time theater gimmick things.
Yeah,
Right? Now,
yeah.
and
Smell-o-vision.
Smell-o-vision, Sense-o-vision.
Like Firewatch would have come out with little. They should have had little like air fresheners that were like one of them should have been like pine trees and one of them should be like burnt wood.
Like smoke. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, like campfire.
Yeah, like a campfire thing.
That'd be cool.
That would have been really good.
And then it's the equivalent of like the rumble, right?
Yeah.
It's like when certain things happen, it goes like
Please, or it's just like,
sprays you in the face with stuff.
Every time you go and eat pizza in the game,
you
the
hang
pizza smell.
You hang the
Yeah.
pine tree to start with in the game, and then at a certain point, the screen goes black, and it's like, please unwrap your other air freshener now. And you put the other one away, and you put the other one up, and you're like, oh.
Please switch air freshener.
Yeah. Side 2.
Please turn your air freshener over. You have died. Please take out blood air freshener. Although I suspect the term air freshener
Yeah.
might be somewhat incorrect in this case, but anyway.
It's probably closer to a diffuser, but still.
Secondary point to this, though, Laura Kate Dale.
Both are true.
Either way, Laura K. Buzz.
Yeah, Laura K. Buzz.
Yeah.
She often just nicks it to K, but
Okay.
Kate Dale, yeah.
So Laura had posted on their Mastodon account that we are probably going to see more of the kind of movie tie-in promotion stuff. If you have a game that is also part of a movie thing, we'll probably see more of that if the WGA strikes and the SAG-AFTRA strikes go on for a while, because this also acts as a means of movie studios being able to promote their movie without having to promote the movie. They just promote the things that tie into it.
right,
instead.
because the
Video game news doesn't give a shit about.
and because the actors aren't doing press junkets.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, so it's like we still would be getting stuff like this, but
Yeah.
we might get a flood more of it.
Yeah, like this already
mean,
exists, but
And like I was gonna say, we've been doing ChillPoint long enough to know like the idea of movie slash silly movie slash video game tie-ins is certainly not a new concept.
yeah, absolutely.
Especially when there's a video game and a movie that are slightly related to each
But
other coming
like,
out.
the last time we had a writer's strike, we had uptick in reality shows, right? And so the the idea is that this stuff would still exist on its own, but we probably see it jump up higher than we would before, or would have without the strikes going on.
Yeah, because it's technically qualifies as video game news because it's about Xbox controllers that are weird.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was really interesting. That I'm like, right, that's another. It's another means like.
And to be fair, I
for promotion
legitimately didn't actually know anything about this movie, so
Yeah.
I guess that's something.
I see the thing show up on YouTube, like things. I'm like, oh, another Turtles movie, cool. Skip, you know, like it's
I
like
thought
whatever.
it was for a cartoon or something.
I just assumed it was a movie.
I don't know. I don't know about movies so much now.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't watch the ads for things.
And then Kud.
Is it Cud or Cud? Or
I don't know.
Cud?
I made a value judgment.
I've been saying Cud myself because
For some reason, my instinct is quad, but that's probably wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a different thing.
It's a Q-U-D.
I want to think it's a long U because the qua.
Q'd?
So it'd be.
I'm correct. Chat says I'm correct. I want that.
Yeah.
Sorry. So how is it pronounced?
Cud.
Cud?
It's just cud. It's not quad. It's cud or quud.
All right.
Quad. It's cud.
Chat says I was correct.
Anyway, the patch notes
I'm very
are.
excited about this. I don't know why they say that a lot.
The patch notes are very fun.
Am I lying now?
Because if you don't know anything about the game, which we don't, anytime you don't know anything about a game, reading things like fixed to bugs that made padded items worthless, and it's like, sure.
Let me just talk a little bit. Let's just go through a few of these that we didn't get to in the out, because the outro obviously was just
It's not really long enough.
just had one thing. Fjorn Kosov's fists no longer have antimatter cells slotted into them, nor are they considered weird artifacts.
Really?
So that's good.
Nobody thinks they're weird anymore.
Yeah,
Good for them.
they've been normalized. Stasis now prevents blood splatter and similar effects.
Seems to make sense.
Okay.
Colossal creatures can now equip large boulders.
I'm glad they got that upgrade.
Look forward to that.
Can they equip colossal boulders?
Well, that might be a problem.
Maybe not.
Two large boulders the size of small boulders?
Maybe you were always able to equip colossal boulders, but you couldn't equip smaller than colossal boulders because you're colossal.
When you dominate a creature, your companions now stop attacking it.
That's good.
Literally means that everyone just kept attacking it, and then it went away. Presumably, I've never played this game.
When you become unlost via an unconventional method, you now get the usual message about regaining your bearings.
Now,
What was the other message?
I would assume
Is becoming unlost via unconventional method the same as becoming lost via conventional method?
Yeah. Reading this, I'm like, when I got to the end, I didn't even for a second I was like regaining your wheel bearings. Like I was like so lost reading the sentence that I stopped understanding English.
Yeah.
I do like the whole when you get lost on the world map, you no longer always wind up in the center of the parasang. And I was like, oh, wow, cool. I think I had a stroke.
Ah.
At the end of that sentence, something broke in my brain. I'm like, some sort of thing is taken over.
Nests and nest-like creatures who are villagers should no longer collapse after they finish spawning. Just makes me think when you get out of bed and you're like, yeah, no.
I like just nests and nest-like creatures.
Whoa, hang on.
They didn't say like that. Presumably, nest-like is like a bird or something, but nest.
But also nest-like creatures who are villagers
Yeah.
is even a stronger idea. Mm-hmm. I don't really, yeah.
Creatures that leave trails of objects behind them no longer fall through the floor when they leave a pit in the space behind them.
Oh.
This one I'm very disappointed in. Krakens no longer do their two-step move on the world map.
Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds like a fun dance.
that sucks. No more
We don't
Kraken
get
two-step.
Yeah, we don't get the Kraken two-step on the world map
Yeah.
anymore.
Whose bed have their tentacles been under?
Anyway.
Some pretty good ones in here.
Yeah.
Fix the bug that disqualified items from becoming magnetized based on the total stack weight rather than the weight per item. Anyway. I don't know I don't know if this was done. These were done. These are done sort of deliberately in a slightly silly way. But I suspect that this is largely just informational and it's funny.
Fixed a bug that made removing photosynthetic skin cause errors with bleeding.
Hey, have you had your photosynthetic skin removed?
Are you experiencing a bleeding error?
Are you experiencing errors with bleeding? You might have a case.
The lost effect is no longer hard-coded to Jopa world. Being lost is now tracked per world. Does that mean you couldn't get lost anywhere else?
Don't you hate it when you get lost in Jopa world?
Nobody goes there. Everyone just gets lost.
Yeah. Anyway.
No, there's some good ones.
There's some
usually
excellent.
Yeah, actually, the ratio of how many good there are to just kind of normal is really high. Usually, we look through these and there's like a good half of them are pretty normal.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's good.
I don't know if the game is any good, although I think it's quite popular.
It's one I've heard the name of enough to suspect that a lot of people enjoy it.
I mean, it's a very, it's got that Dwarf Fortress rogue aesthetic of it's like all like super old school like text-based stuff.
Does it? Okay, cool.
Anyway.
It could be good. Very good. Akatana. I appreciate that.
Stuff that we didn't.
What did we not talk about in this?
Stuff we didn't talk about. Video game sense. Because there's weirdly another story about video game sense.
Is it attached to a controller?
No. In this case, it is scented candles.
Yeah, okay.
Based on Persona 5 Royal characters.
It's probably the same. I feel like when these come up, it's almost generally the same company is just doing more video game things.
Yeah.
Wicked Skull is the company. There's a duo of scents based on Ryuji and Haru.
Yeah.
So you
from
all
Persona
know it,
5 Royal.
Get him his best friend candle.
Yeah. Brighten the vibe of any room with Ryuji's candle. Does anyone want to guess what Ryuji smells like and has not read the thing? Because
Okay, well, he was a track player for a while, so I'm assuming some sort of like sporty,
like gym equipment,
sweaty kind of smell.
Great, that's not what I want in my room.
Haru is really into learning how to make coffee and coffee beans and stuff after a while, and learning that. So maybe a coffee smell for Haru.
All right. Well,
ramen's really a good one for Ryuji, yeah.
Ryuji has notes of amber, leather, and vetiver. Vetiver.
Yeah.
And will apparently smell rebellious and loud.
That's how I want my smells to be.
I would
loud.
assume that'd be like because I wouldn't put leather together with like citron, like with like grapefruit or something like that. But I would assume he probably smells like grapefruit. But yeah.
And Haru, meanwhile, will contain freesia, lilac, and peach, and provide a sense of luxury and loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a shame.
That's a girl scent. So the girl gets the girl scent.
I really do think the coffee thing would have been.
Yeah, there's got to have
very
coffee candles has got to be a thing. And as this article points out, the burn time is 35 plus hours, which will in no way last for an entire playthrough of Persona 5 Royal. So you got to get it. You're gonna have to get a couple of these if you want to have the scent the whole time.
I have to remind you, Royal is the second version of the game that came out.
Yeah.
And it came with if you unlock all the right things, it comes with like basically a third trimester or whatever semester thing in school and like a huge number extra. So this is an over 100-hour game.
So I think what you should do is you buy all the Persona 5 Royal candles, and then what you do is whenever you meet that character in game and they add to your party, you light the candle.
There you go.
And as you play the game. So then only when you're playing the game are those candles lit. And then when the candle burns out, you have to either remove them from your party, and when all the candles are burned out, you have to stop playing the game.
So is this just in the dungeon areas then?
As long as they're in your party.
So
Like
yeah,
it's-
it's basically dungeon. Well, because if I go and do a friend event to up our like relationship score, should I not be burning their candle?
No, you have to
then?
be burning their candle. Like the moment they join your party, like the moment they become your friend, it's like anytime you play the game, you have to light the candles for everybody who's in your party.
But
Yeah.
there's only so many people in your party when you're in the dungeon because you
Sure.
have to swap in and out.
Well, then
Can-
I guess you can blow the candle out when they're not in your party in the dungeon.
But
Can-
they're
candle-
not always with you on the overworld.
Candle percent speedrun.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about here. Is do a Persona 5 Royal speedrun based on your candle percentage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I
Have
have
Royal
somebody?
Nuzlocke, yeah.
Can I
Now-
have somebody else managing the candles for me
I think so.
while
yeah.
I play,
I think
I don't have to like worry about that part.
So, are you concerned that you're not going to have enough time to turn around and put a candle out or light a candle again?
I
or-
just feel like there's already so much information going on in an RPG that I have to keep track of that I would like a little bit of help managing the candles.
Fair.
Is there a point in Persona 5 where you go and have pizza? Could you combine that with your
Oh, you
your
go-
controller?
You go to the ramen
Ooh,
shop a
like
lot.
that,
I don't
yeah.
think there's a pizza thing. There is like a scene where a bunch of them go to a buffet, and there could be technically pizza there.
Now I'm imagining one of those like, you know, ridiculous YouTube challenge things.
Right.
That's like, I made an automated system that's like a flamethrower that lights the candle and puts it out at certain times, based on like some sort of you know, automated system that detects the things coming out of the game
I'm actually imagining how you
and parses
do that,
parses
yeah.
it. And
What I find really funny about
Arduino controls
this,
that.
it's like way overcomplicated.
Yeah.
what I find funny about this article that we're on is that the ad banner sides are for some other weird like
Radiant tail.
anime game, and it's weird how much it's working with the persona.
Oh,
like
yeah,
not
kinda.
the look, but like the anime is so heavy on this page that I'm just like, wow, what?
Yeah. Look at all these kissable boys. Except the one who's wearing a mask.
And a fluffy kitty.
Ah, yeah, the fluffy
Oh yeah,
kitty's
it's
good
kind of a
too.
cat.
Yeah.
I don't know what this game is,
Oh,
but
it's got Idea Factory. That's probably that could be a visual novel.
Okay, she's dressed as a drum major. She's the one in charge.
I like that they had both the idea factory and the design factory working on it.
It's good. You gotta get
Do
your
they have-
ideas and your design out.
Is the programming factory also involved somehow?
Yeah, they turned it all over to the marketing factory.
Yeah. Anyway.
Sorry, I just got distracted
oh,
by
No,
anime.
that's
fine.
good. That's
Yeah.
good.
What anime is this?
I wanted this next one to be the coming up, and I didn't really know how to do it.
Yeah, so this is not a fun story. This is a cool story. Obviously, it's
Yeah.
talking about something that is not fun, but ultimately, it's a good thing. Mila Kunis has teamed up with World of Warcraft
Like you expected.
and they're doing a special edition charity pet in World of Warcraft, proceeds of which are going to support
Ukrainian.
Blue check.
Blue Check Ukraine,
Yeah.
which is an organization that identifies vets and assists Ukrainian NGOs. So, great support for Ukraine,
What is an NGO?
Non-governmental organization.
Okay.
non-government organization. So it's
I don't see
Weird.
that term a lot.
I actually didn't process that the first time I read it, but Blue Check Ukraine itself is not the one that like does the work. They're the one that looks at all the Ukrainian NGOs and says, here's real ones, for one thing. So here's a real Ukrainian NGO. Here's one you've never heard of before, and it's also real. Like that kind of work. And then says and then we will assist them to be able to get the resources they need from other places. So they're kind of like an organization on top of the organizations. Probably
Yeah.
functioning in the English-speaking world. Though I have to say that, like, headline sentences are just becoming, like, even more words, like, sentences that never existed before.
there's So there's a video about it that talks about the very important information. I'm attempting to scrub through it and find a picture of the actual
There they
There we
are.
go.
little guys that you get, the little pets. So you get
Fish with legs.
you get a Murloc, that's blue and carries around a yellow flower. He's got a yellow sunflower,
Which is a big thing they grow in Ukraine.
and then there's also this little doggy, who
It's
is
a good doggy.
who is
Good
the,
dog.
the best.
But yeah, fish with legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Florky, I think is what this one's name is. Sunny, or is Sunny the name of the? It's in the article. I remember that. Sunny's the dog.
Sunny's the dog. Anyway, so they're it's a $20 pack. Obviously more expensive than it would be normally, but that's because it's going to charity. Available to purchase until August 29th. And they're saying that Sunny and Florky will remain exclusive to this cause. They're not going to go into the general. These, I guess there might be different,
Versions of them.
colorways or different
Right.
skins and stuff. Anyway, can you pet the dog? I don't know. I feel like interacting with your pets is probably something that already exists
Yeah,
in the WoW
I would assume
world.
so.
In Warcraft? I mean, maybe.
I just thought that like
Considering like pets as a whole have existed in WoW for like 20 years.
and it's just like a dog must have already be in the game, and
I mean,
it would have solved that problem.
A dog-like creature seems like it would be what you would start with, right?
I would assume, yeah. WoW has Pokemon style pet fights. Why?
It
Not
does.
why? Just wow.
Yes. Can you pet the little fish guy? That's what's really important.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he doesn't want it.
You know, consensual petting.
Yeah,
That's
dogs
important.
like to be
That's
pet.
important. Shotgun King, the final checkmate. So when I first marked this as a story, I thought this was like a new game that had just come out. Turns out it's the reason why it was marked. The reason why it came up as a story is because it's just coming out on Switch, but it has been out on Steam already.
Fair.
Okay.
But it is a chess roguelike where you are
okay.
you are a king who
You have a gun.
you have a gun
You're a tiny king baby.
because you're the only one left on your side, but you have weapon, and it's like a roguelike, so you get like upgrades after every level and stuff.
Holy crap! I
Wow.
love this.
And I guess all the things move in
In the same
chess-
way,
chess
It
form.
makes sense for the theming.
I hope that I feel like they really should, if they haven't, they should get like, was it get like Magnus Carlsen? Like
Yeah.
get like some like chess grandmasters to stream playing this.
Yeah.
That would be
Oh.
amazing.
That would be really cool. What a great idea though, to just be like, okay, we're gonna make a game. What do we want to do? We want to
Shotgun
do
King?
chess. Okay, we're gonna play chess. Great. Then, what do we want to do to chess? Oh my god. We want to. What if we gave them all guns? No, that would be over too fast. Okay, what if we just gave the king a gun? That's better because the king doesn't have much that they can do. Perfect. The king has a gun.
I mean, king can only move one step forward, except in some very specific cases where you can kind of do like rooking and whatnot.
Castle. Yeah.
Right. Is castling? I thought it was rooking.
Castling is what I
Castling?
believe they call it. Yeah.
Castle
Yeah,
and
it
Rookers.
comes out
That's the thing. Yeah.
Yes.
August 24th on the Switch.
On Switch. So yeah, it's already out
Putting that
on.
on my wish list.
It is.
I don't want to forget. That seems neat.
Yeah.
Already out on Steam.
All
I
you
don't,
have
I
to.
don't, I don't play things.
The best part is all you have to do, really, with a game like that, is you just have to know how the king moves. You know.
Well,
just
and presumably there's, it's got the roguelike thing where like after every whatever certain amount of time level
get
or
upgrades.
whatever, you get like random upgrades,
Yeah.
right? So you get each level is different.
I guess you have to know how all the other pieces move because they're coming at you that way too.
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
need to know if you're in trouble.
Yeah, like when you can only move one step ahead, and you have I have a bishop can go all the way in a diagonal line. There's gonna be places you don't want to go.
I hope that means that they're like you can't move yourself into check. Like if it's like you can't move yourself into a position, you'll get hit by a rook unless you can actually shoot the rook.
I don't know. I don't know. It seems like fun. I'm gonna check that out later.
I hope that's a good point. I hope the store is called the pawn shop. I random chess fact that I didn't know.
Yeah.
There was I was reading a thing about like quite a controversial thing that happened where in a high level pro chess game.
Okay.
Where is that a guy took the other player's king, which you are apparently a lot of people thought that he should be disqualified for doing that.
He didn't knock it over. He literally
No.
bumped it out of the way and took it off the board.
No, it's even knock you down. Like apparently, how the rules of chess work, the king. The person who loses always concedes.
Ah. Okay.
Actually taking the opponent's king isn't a move that can be.
It's not a secret.
It's not a real, like it's not an an allowed move.
Okay.
The opponent
okay.
concedes.
Right, because it's like, so if you can keep moving back and forth forever, like if you've demonstrated a loop, then it's like you can just keep doing that and have to play the game out until somebody runs out of time, I guess.
I think you just end up conceding because.
Well, you're supposed to. But
Yeah.
No. If you do the same move a certain number of times, I think that is also considered to be a
really?
concession. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, I just thought that was a funny thing that it's like, that actually taking your opponent's king is at least bad manners, if not actually disqualifying.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
When you said he took the opponent's king, my brain was just like, I win now, and like first move, I take your king and then I run away. And I'm like, of course he should be disqualified for that. I don't know why I went
You
that
see,
way.
the announcers are like, that's a bold move here. It's a bold move.
Idea.
Haven't seen this since Helsinki in 1935.
Okay, it's a draw. It's a draw by repetition. So if you end up doing the thing where it's like, I move here, it's like, well, then I move here, well, then I move here, well, then I move here. And it's like every time you're doing it, it's like, you're back in check. Okay, well, I'm out of check. Well, now you're back in check.
Yeah,
Okay, well, I'm out of check. And it's like, draw.
Yeah, as Mike says, Mike Sig says, the checkmate is the condition where the king is guaranteed to be captured.
Yeah.
But you don't actually capture him. Mm-hmm. It's just weird. I like that. Speaking of things that are weird, hey, remember Conker's Bad Fur Day?
I prefer not to.
Never played it. Should have bought a copy.
That was one of those. That was one of those like, oh, look at us, we're so
edgy. Yeah, it's worth $500.
Which is probably.
Yeah, but so is my Pokemon games. Like whatever.
Fair.
I feel like I don't know. Like I didn't really play it back in the day. I feel like now it would be seen as kind of adorable.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Like, aw, you thought you were edgy. That's so cute.
He cursed once. Oh my goodness.
Anyway, first four figures has unveiled a new figure called the Mighty Pooh.
I just don't want to look at it. I already can tell most of what's going on in it.
It's
I kind of find it gross. And I don't want to look at it.
It's a big. I guess this was one of the bosses from the game. It's a big poop.
and I'm guessing the whole statue also includes the Conker statue, like focused on
it's the
scene.
It's the scene, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the thing. At least it isn't. What if it was one of those? What are those called? The little guys that are all the same looking.
Pawns. We're still talking about chess. What?
Putties.
No, the people who do the the figures that are all based on the same.
Nendoroids?
Oh, Funkos.
Funko,
Oh,
yeah.
Funko
Jesus. Funko Pop of this guy.
Yeah, a great Mighty Pooh Funko Pop.
Isn't
There
it
we go.
great to know that we've kind of almost excised that entire company from our minds? Like, it's like we don't. That's not the first thing that comes up. Like Nendoroid, and it's like no, we're talking
I
about.
mean, I wanted to be doing anything else.
So that's available, and you might be like, well, how much is that going to cost? It's like, well, we don't know, but you can save $10 if you want to decide to buy one now. And to give you an idea of how much the other ones cost, look at those prices for the Soldier Conquer things from First Four Figures.
Yeah, so apparently they're doubling. This is like they've been making a bunch of Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Is there really that much nostalgia for this thing?
I don't
Some
know.
people, I guess.
What does this one look like?
Enter your email address to find
Is it
out.
massive? Like, it's hard to tell how big any of these things really are until you
Like,
yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah. See, even Nendoroids are cheaper than this.
I feel like they may be overestimating
completely different kind
the
of thing,
nostalgia
but-
for Conker's Bad Fur Day.
$770. Like,
Or either overestimating the nostalgia or overestimating the liquid capital of people who do have a lot of nostalgia for it.
fair, yeah.
Like, I feel like,
First Four Figures typically makes expensive statues,
I mean, I guess it's
they're
their if
highly
it's their
detailed.
thing, yeah.
Yeah.
kind of thing.
And then probably only make
They're probably a small run.
200 of these, maybe 300
Well, I
of
don't
these.
know what a small run is in contention with this kind of thing.
I mean, they're a big enough company. People have heard of them. They do like Nintendo Life doesn't do reports on us when I release a new T-shirt, so I have to assume that they're probably selling maybe 1,000 of these
maybe
things
if you
worldwide.
released a T-shirt that was more Nintendo oriented, they would.
It's
I do want to get sued. It's true.
also a fact that there's 40 centimeters tall, it said.
Jesus.
Yeah, they are typically quite large statues.
Okay.
That's pretty big.
Yeah.
So, you can really display your ginormous poopy
Yeah.
thing.
What a great.
Please put it in the bathroom.
And
Shred it around with your toilet paper. That
Yeah.
seems like it's probably thematic.
it's also like Conker's Bad Fur. It's not like there's like a groundswell of support for a sequel to Conker's
true.
Bad Fur Day. There's no current rumors about a sequel or a remake or anything.
No one has a change.org petition up saying that force Rare to make a new edition of Conker's Bad Fur Day.
I mean, maybe there is, but
I mean, I've never looked. So
It was part of Rare Replay in 2015. So it's like it came back, people were like, "Hooray!" And then it's like you can play it these days if you want to. And yeah, there's not a lot of people being like agitating for we want equal pay and we want the rights that all other humans have and we want a new Conker's Bad Fur Day game. Like that kind of thing is not happening.
like we could do 2 out of 3.
Okay.
Guess which 2 we're gonna do. That's right. 2 copies of Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Hey, all right, 2 more sequels to finish off the trilogy.
It's the way the it's the way Miyamoto always intended.
Yeah, yeah.
I said that we have stories from Microsoft and Activision.
Yeah.
Microsoft,
Just mysteriously disappear and we don't have to.
well, Microsoft had the controller.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was a Microsoft product.
I guess that's technically true.
This weird pizza controller, yeah.
And Activision,
Also has a pizza thing.
sort of, yeah.
This is gonna be a less fun pizza thing, isn't it?
It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
So, Activision is filing suit against a TikTok creator for copyright infringement, but not the way you think.
No.
It's actually reversed. So, and unfortunately, this has been scoured from the actual original thing has been taken down for various reasons,
okay.
or the thing that the dispute is over. But anyway, Activision put out a meme video to
Crash Bandicoot.
as a promotion for Crash Bandicoot.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
With the audio from the pizza being cut into very small pieces, which is a meme thing on TikTok. I have been informed.
Me too.
It's on Know Your Meme, so it must be a real thing.
Yeah.
Do I just have to get an account to like add things to that? I feel like I could do some damage.
It has been, his original video was viewed like 5 million times. Anyway, they did this, tons of people put it, it's become a meme, so lots of people have made remakes of it and remixes and all this stuff. Activision did it. Apparently, he contacted them and was like, hey, if you want to use this, you have to license it. If you want to use this audio from me, you have to license it.
Yeah.
And apparently,
he
requested a six-figure licensing fee.
Good for him.
And also said that other companies had already licensed it from him for similar amounts.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
And so Activision is going to court to let's see, what's the actual thing?
So
they're seeking a ruling confirming that they did not infringe on his rights.
They're doing this under fair use.
So they're kind of reverse suing him.
Yes. Yeah.
They're suing him to prove that they don't that he can't sue them.
Yeah, it's like a counterclaim before the claim has been made.
Okay.
Because he hasn't taken them to court or anything yet. He said, "Look, I want you to pay me probably $100,000 or whatever it is, but it's 6 figures. I want you to pay me this much money because that's what you should do, and that way I won't have to take you to court for using my stuff without my permission." But TikTok's terms of service state that users grant third parties the right to modify, adapt, reproduce, or make derivative works of their uploaded videos.
And what I love about this is if you replace the word Activision with any small TikTok or YouTube creator, it sounds like one of these very frustrated people being having to deal with the corporate bureaucracy of TikTok or YouTube or whatever in these copyright claims, except the little guy in this case is friggin' Activision against this guy who's just made a stupid video about a pizza.
Yeah, it just happened to catch on,
And so Activision is like, this dispute is a textbook example of how intellectual property law can be misused by individuals to leverage unfair cash payments from users of social media networks such as TikTok, Activision's lawyers say. And Activision's lawyers presumably are like, let us cite all these different case laws how a person could abuse intellectual property law against other people, like we have done many times in the past.
Yeah, they're also saying that they grabbed the audio from a listing that TikTok marks as cleared for commercial use.
Right. Again, the thing with hey, this is from the TikTok or the YouTube it's okay list, and you still get hit by a DRM claim.
Yeah, and that's odd too, right? Because it's okay, so if the person in question, Anthony Fantano, if he put it into the bucket saying anybody can remix this and do whatever and it's cleared for commercial use, go right ahead, then it's okay, but also what you're saying is it's free and clear for commercial use. It's you can use this in anything that you want. If it's commercial or not, I'm not going to come asking for it, because you could also technically say that it's I'm clearing something, I'm allowing people to use this commercially and they have to pay a fee for it. So that's not what hopefully is going on here. It's no, I'm putting this up Creative Commons style, right? It's Creative Commons commercial. You can say commercial entities can use this and they don't have to pay me anything for it. There are different ways to license things. I'm sure this is going to be one of those things where from now on people will be like, hey, is there an actual library on TikTok that I can put my stuff into that's free for individuals to remix but not free for corporations to remix? If the non-commercial use bucket, because if there is, then that's pretty good.
Anyway,
but it is. I don't like the feeling of Activision being the little guy here or being the guy.
They're not. I mean, they're not a little guy.
Yeah.
At all.
It just really feels disingenuous then to be like, oh, this is just an example of how individuals can leverage unfair cash payments from a simple user of a normal everyday social media network. It's like, yeah, it doesn't really.
If they end up being in the right,
yeah,
and their arguments are true, then if they put anything in, like you should be able to point at this and say
that's
this
a good point.
against them as well, right?
Yeah,
like, that's how court rulings and stuff work.
One would hope. I also like that he didn't reply to requests for comment about this particular situation. He did do an interview with Overcome last year about the popularity of the clip, and he says, I have so many other irons in the fire going, I don't really give a shit about what happens with the sound of me yelling at a pizza.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, that is that very like, I'm above all this kind of stuff kind of attitude, right? It's like, I don't give a shit about being taken to court for whatever, that I might have to pay legal fees or, that kind of thing. And then he adds, for somebody who has literally nothing to their name other than, hey, I have this popular song on TikTok or this popular sound. And he's not talking about himself. I think he's talking about anybody who has, like, I have this popular sound on TikTok. For them not to see any kind of benefit off of that whatsoever, that's terrible. That's awful. I'm like, yeah, there's lots of people who have ended up doing a viral thing on TikTok that's like, you may never, the only thing you'll get out of that is the popularity of it. You might never get, like, job offers or anything else.
This happens with, like, a lot of people in memes, right?
Yeah.
There's, like, memes that are based on people's images that, like, of their faces and stuff, and they never make anything of it.
Yeah, they become part of popular culture, but they don't make anything from it. It's like, okay, that's one thing, because that's just the populace sharing things with each other, and all of a sudden this person is now known. But the other side of it is when a well-known company says, hey, we want to do marketing based on that idea, and so they remix it.
Yeah, and there's definitely, and there's a lot of, obviously there's a lot of different ways of doing the sort of copyright law and licensing things, the GPL and other other kinds of open copyright licenses that some of which do have the thing to sort of separate from commercial and non-commercial. Because there's I feel like a lot of people do feel like there is a big difference between people sharing memes and whatever hot topic, taking your picture and making a T-shirt out of it.
Yes. Who else? Max T's taking our Bike Club shirt and making a fucking hoodie out of it.
What?
Yeah. I got an email about that the other day from a fan being like, hey, there's this T-shirt company that's taken your design, whole hog, just took the design and has put it on a hoodie. And I went looking for a way to email them, and it's like, man, I have to, like, do a lot of work to try
such garbage
to try to figure this shit out. So at some point I'll send them an email and be like, hey, you don't own that image. We do. You need to take that down.
Why is Bionic Trousers Media always going after the little guy?
Exactly.
Who just wants to celebrate something that they're excited about.
It's only one of the 52,000 designs they sell on their website. I mean, I don't know how it could be that big a deal.
They're all. It's for just one of these places that just like pulls random things from like images from like Twitter and auto generates T-shirts from them.
Yeah, and they got some gross shit on there too. That I'm just like, wow, you were all over the political map on all your T-shirts as well. So that sucks. But yeah, Max T's, definitely avoid them.
Anyway.
But go to store.loadingreadyrun.com.
Store.loadingreadyrun.com. T-shirts that are actually good and that we have are okay to sell.
The T-shirts are probably on a better textile too.
That we actually made.
Yeah.
And they're not. Yeah, they're not like print on demand or whatever.
They're not on some sort of random undershirt from someplace. I do want to try print on demand at some point because you can specify. And Shopify has a means to do print on demand, but it's more expensive. It's a little difficult to set up from my perspective, and I'm like, I don't know what the print quality will be like.
That's always the trick with print on demand. Yeah.
So some testing got to be done there.
Maybe we could do print on polite request.
Yes. Well, we kind of do already.
Why does it have to be so demanding all the time?
We actually do have print on polite request. Is that if you are interested in buying a shirt from store.loadingreadyrun.com and we don't have your size in stock, put your email address in the blank. That lets me know that people are requesting that shirt. And when we hit the threshold where I can actually make shirts, because you can only make shirts at a certain threshold, otherwise they won't make them for you. When I have enough to say, okay, people want to see this shirt again, then I can go ahead and I can.
Right, there you go. Yeah.
When they want to buy the shirt again. Lots of people want to see things.
Oh, yeah, that's true. When you want to buy that shirt, then
Please just
put
do
your-
this if this is a thing you actually want to purchase.
You might have to wait a little while for it to come into stock, but hopefully, if people are on board with that,
Yeah, you'll get an email when it comes back in stock as well, which is I find really useful.
Yeah, I think so too. We don't use those emails for anything because I can't be bothered. Fangamer is selling.
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
Yeah, we should bring that up.
Fangamer is doing a reprint of the first 6 Desert Bus tees. This is something that I am very excited about personally, as somebody who really loves the Desert Bus t-shirts and wears them all the time. Mine from my first Desert Bus t-shirts have kind of worn out.
Yeah.
Which makes me very sad.
And
I got a lot of good use out of them, but they're getting a little thin on the side.
Whereas mine are actually, like most of mine, are still in their plastic. Because I either took them out more than once and put them back in, or it's just like, I'm not going to... I didn't have it on. Like, I guess I'll just put this at home and I'll wear it whenever, and I haven't actually taken it out of the plastic yet. So I have pristine t-shirts.
T-shirts are made to be worn.
I know!
It's like keeping your action figures in the plastic
That's
thing.
why
It's not
sometimes
cool.
I buy
Yeah,
doubles.
it's no bueno.
One
But
to wear, one for later when the worn one goes away.
yeah, they asked us because the t-shirts used to come in 2 colorways, right? Like, remember we had
That's true.
the black and red and stuff, and so we picked the ones that were like, this looks really good, we like it like this, and so those are the colorways that are available. We hope you agree and you want to buy one of those t-shirts to do that. And the reason why I'm saying we hope you want to buy one of those t-shirts is because portions of profits are coming to Desert Bus and Child's Play from the purchase. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, just to make this video timely, pre-orders are finished about August 15th.
Yes.
So if you're watching this on YouTube later and it's past that, I'm sorry.
yeah, 2023 August 15. Yeah.
It's a good point. Is the reprint collection going to affect the resale value of the t-shirts that you've been keeping pristine in their plastic?
Christ, I hope so.
Yeah.
I was sitting on these waiting to give them out to my friends to be like, hey, look, I got one of these old t-shirts, $60. You know, like,
Nah, we don't do that.
that's not gonna
Yeah,
happen.
t-shirt reserve list.
I have all my t-shirts from Animathon. Like, I have a drawer.
Those are not worth anything.
I have a drawer in my. Yeah, actually, you know what's funny? So this is way off the rails. This is a Twitch out shit. Let's finish the show and I'll talk about some Twitch out.
You got to keep it in now.
So somebody shared there. I know it was Ian or who it was, but somebody shared a dude posted in Japanese on Twitter that they're like, look at this cool shirt that I saw a Canadian guy wearing in Japan. I have no idea where to buy it.
Uh-huh.
And it was the Anime Alberta I Am Canadian shirt that had all of our mascots on.
Oh, that's like really old.
Yeah, it's real old, right? And we printed it on like deep blue. It's good looking blue. A nice comfortable shirt too. And so the back had all the same print on it. The front had the club print. So if you were from Baka, you could get that one. But if you were from DOA, you could get theirs. If you got the one from Jaws that had the Jaws logo, right? So these are all the clubs across the province. We kind of did like a loose amalgamation thing. And so they're like, I can't find where to buy this thing. And I totally wanted to go to my drawer and pull one out and be like, you mean this shirt? Like, just kind of take a picture and just like tease them a little more. It's like, yeah, I know where you could get these, like, but you can't get them anymore. They're very old. And mine's still in good condition. I think I wore it like 6 times and, was very careful washing it and stuff.
Yeah, I'm surprised you guys did like deep blue. I'm like happy about that because usually, especially early on, a lot of anime convention t-shirts are
Black.
white.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which was not a great. Those don't last long.
No, but they were
get,
easy to print
they
on.
They get whatever, or they're black, which is not as bad.
Yeah.
But again, after you go to so many, they're kind of a little boring. A little boring.
I remember way back in the day. Speaking of t-shirts, for PAX.
Yeah.
And the whole enforcers wore black.
Yes.
It was like a PAX enforcer thing, and then after a while they switched them to wearing different colors depending on which PAX they were at, which was a fairly controversial move among the enforcers. Like, they really liked the black, and there was like, take up the black. Like, this was, I think Game of Thrones might have been around at that point.
Yeah.
Take up the black and all this stuff, right? But they also realized that at a video game convention, the people you want to stand out wearing black t-shirts wasn't a great idea because half the people are wearing black t-shirts anyway.
This is why at AnimeThon what we did is because we used to say like everybody, all the staff had regular shirts that had the print on the front, but also staff members also had a print on the back. That was not the same as the one on the front, but it was the one that's like staff t-shirts had special prints on the back, and that was to denote us that it's like if you see someone walking around in a shirt that has a print on the back, then you know that's staff and you can talk to them if you need to ask them a question. But everybody else is buying the same shirt we get with the thing on the front. And then we said at some point, we're like, security people are getting red t-shirts.
We really need them to be noticeable.
Yeah, people need to know who they are. They get red t-shirts. We were like, oh, but we don't want to. It's like, no, they're getting red t-shirts because they need to see them. And I don't understand why more conventions didn't understand that was the way to go. That it's like put your staff in bright colors, make them recognizable, make it look like a uniform
also,
for a reason.
Use the word staff or something. I've seen a number of anime conventions use NPC and
yeah,
stuff for their
good.
volunteers, which I understand why, but I find that kind of demeaning.
Yeah,
You mentioned it. You're right.
I don't like it as a term for a volunteer. And if you're not familiar, like, because that's then using a term for a different term that more people recognize.
Yeah.
And I just don't think it's
And
great.
I love enforcer as a thing because when you see like 100 people at an event that all have shirts on that say enforcer, then you know there's that they take their job seriously. It's a little aggressive, but it's like also we're here to enforce the rules.
It's a better term overall.
Yeah.
I don't like NPC.
Yeah.
Yeah, NPC. Yeah, that's yeah. Unless there's like actually like something going on where there's like a scavenger hunt or like
A specific gaming thing.
specific game thing.
I get it. Like I even understand why conventions do that kind of thing. It's supposed to be fun and whatever.
Yeah.
I just don't. I personally don't.
I don't think that's a
care
good
for
idea.
it.
I forget. I think it was at a PAX one time where there were a bunch. I think there were enforcers and different people going around that had hats with like a spring and then like a big question mark.
Oh yeah.
On top,
yeah.
so they looked like, and they were quest givers, and there was like a meta game going on.
The Pokemon League group, like where you can go around and find people to fight with Pokemon for a specific thing, typically have like bright scarves and stuff that are related, and I like the idea of like scarf colors and things or bandanas and whatnot.
LurkCon 2 people need a cool volunteer name. We're gonna call them Gerhards.
Can we get them cool bandanas or something
Definitely.
in a fun color?
All right. Thanks everybody for joining us for ChillPoint. If you haven't seen this week's episode of Checkpoint, you should check it out. It is on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/loadingreadyrun. Or right now, Loading Ready, or LRRVG. I'm sorry. This will be on the video game channel. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, it's probably somewhere around this video in the recommended thing or near it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we will talk to all y'all later. Bye.